Next question, find the range. So we're going to draw ladder steps, and I have to draw horizontal lines that cross the y-axis, which means these kind of lines. And if you notice, it starts down here, and I don't even look at the x-axis at all. I'm focused only on the y-axis and how these lines go up in order to continue to follow the graph. See? So it's not this way for domain. It's not this way for range. That's not range, that's domain. This is your range, and it's going up. That's -2, so I can get rid of B and C. And it's going up to, I can count the numbers or count the lines, but that really doesn't help me like I did on the last one. I was trying to trick you. I have to count starting with -1 to see where the numbers go, or -2 to see where the numbers go. So -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's going up. And which one of these mean to go up? Well, this sign stands for a less than sign. See it? And that means below -2. Answer has to be D. You can also write this as I am starting at -2, but it is going to infinity. You won't be tested on that. That's something you need for Algebra 2, but just in case, I want you to know it. So for this one, we would start at 3, but it would work its way all the way to infinity. Next one, the mapping represents all of the points on the graph of the function. So what is the domain of f? And I think a lot of people miss this question because it said f. They forgot that domain meant x values, and they picked these. But that is the range. That's not the domain. Domain would be f. Okay, next question. What is the range of the function? Well, range means y values, and f of x is y, so this would be the range. Ta-da! Okay. Now, we get to do number 39, which has an open and closed. So this is my bubbled answer, which means it is included, so I need a line. But this one, I do not need a line under it. And it says range, so we're looking at the y values only. So -3 to 3. If you looked at -2 and 4, you were talking about domain. So you can X those out. I need a line under it. No line, so that's not right. There is my line, and then I don't need a line for this one. So at my 3, no line, and there is no line. So the answer is D. Woohoo! Which graph shows a function with the domain of all real numbers greater than 7? So go to the x-axis, because this is domain, and draw a vertical line at 7. So let's do that. Here is 7, and it says greater than 7, so my lines are going to move to the right. This is at 7, and my lines are going to move to the right because it says greater. This is 7, and my lines are going to move to the right. And this is 7, my lines are going to move to the right. Which answer covers the graph? Well, C almost looks right because I see the 7, and it is going that way, but it didn't start at 7 on the x-axis. See? It started at 0 on the x-axis. As far as the range is concerned, it stayed at 7. The range stays at 7. It doesn't even get bigger or smaller, so that's automatically wrong. For range, it almost looks right, but it didn't ask for range, it asked for domain. On this one, I see that it's at 7 here, and it's staying at 7, and it's only going up. It's staying at 7, and it doesn't go greater than 7. So this one is at 7 here, but it's staying at 7. It never goes greater than 7. And this one starts at 7. It's not included because it doesn't say greater than or equal to. And it covers the numbers that are larger. So, by George, we have an answer. It's A. Okay, so here, this ugly word problem. The number of ferry trips needed to transport C cars. So, it's telling us C represents the cars. and it's telling us that f of c is the trips, the number of trips. It says that in order to do this in one day, you can use this function to describe f of c being the number of trips and c being cars. If there are no more than 5,000 cars transported by ferry boat daily, what is the range of the function? Well, range means what are the y values, and y values mean y equals, and f of c is y, so y equals c over 200, or 20, c over 20. So I take the 5,000, which represents cars, because it says c is cars, 5,000 cars, so c is 5,000, and put 5,000 here. When I finish, I get 250. So I see 250 here on C and D. The question is, which answer is correct? Is it the set of all integers greater than 250, or is 250 the max? I believe 250 is the max. But if it's the max, do we go below 0? Well, you can't have negative trips. So you have to start at 0 and work your way up to 250. Answer is D. Okay. Is it a function of x? That means, is it a function? So the x values cannot repeat. Okay, so I look at my x values. 1, 3, 3, 3 and 3 repeat, so that is not a function. 1, 3, 5, 9, none of the x values repeat, that is a function. So the answer is B. And if you look at C, just in case, I want to make sure you understand why C is not a function. Because the 2 goes to 3, and then it also goes to -1. So that's 2, 3, and 2, -1. So the x value repeats right here. So it cannot be C. Next one says, which statement below is a function of x? So 1, 4, -5, 7, and 10, none of the x values repeat. Now we notice that 6 and 6 right here do repeat, but they're y values. That has nothing to do with determining if it's a function. Only the x values, so the answer would be A. X values repeating can't be B. X values repeating can't be C. X values repeating can't be D. Next question, which set of ordered pairs represent y as a function of x? So I want to look at my x values and make sure they don't repeat. X, 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 X did not repeat. Enter. Repeat it, and it's an x value. Repeat it, those are x values. And repeat it, those are x values. So the answer would have to be A. Okay, this next question says, for the function w of 9 equals -7. That means that x is 9 and the answer is y. So y is -7. Because f of x equals y. Same thing here, f of x equals y. So x is -7 and y is 9. So the question says, when x is -7, what is the value of y? Well, when x is -7, the value of y is what? 9. That's the answer. Y equals 9. That's it. Okay, we have 3 questions left and we're done. Rewrite the following graph using the answer choices below. So 1, 2, 3, y equals 3. And how do you write y equals 3 in function notation? Instead of y, it's going to say f of x. Answer is C. Next one. Write an equation of a line when the slope is undefined that passes through point 3, -5. Okay. This question is put here because the next part of it says, how do you write this equation in function notation? We need to talk about real quick what it means to have a slope of undefined. When the slope is undefined, you have a vertical line. Now, how do I know where this vertical line is going to go? Well, it tells me right here that x is 3, and then it tells me that y is -5. So that means I am going to put my vertical line at 3. So this is the opposite, in a sense, of the question above. Because that's y equals 3. This is x equals 3. This one here has a slope of 0. How do I know? If we think about our slope guy, negative slope, positive slope. There's my nose, undefined slope. There's my mouth, 0 slope. So this has undefined slope, which means this line would be x equals 3. Now, how do I write this in function notation? You cannot. It's not a function. If you draw a vertical line through it like this, how many times is this vertical line, meaning the x value, is being repeated? Man, so many times you can't even count. Because this point right here, that is, hold on. That is 3, 1. And this point right here, that is 3, 2, because this is the x equals 3 line. So every x value on this line is 3. That's 3, negative 1. That's 3, 0 right there. I mean, I can go on forever. That's what it means to say, when it says x is 3, every number in the x spot is going to be 3. So x always repeats. Well, if the x value repeats, can it be a function? No. If it's not a function, you can't even write it in function notation. Next question. Which graph does not represent a function of x? So in other words, I'm looking for x values that repeat. Well, when I draw a line here, I only touch the graph once. That means the x value did not repeat, no matter where I draw that line. G, I draw the line here, the x value. It does not repeat because it only hits once. Here, only hits once. But here, it hits more than once. So this one is not a function. And remember, it may not say, is it a function or is it not a function? But most of the time you're going to see function of x. Okay. The last question in this section is going to be, which situation is represented by the graph below? So I have the volume of lemonade in a pitcher. So somebody's put some lemonade in a pitcher. And it looks like the lemonade is decreasing. And then, so maybe I poured the lemonade out into a glass. And then I set it down, and over time passed, and the level of lemonade stayed the same. And then I quickly poured out some. And how do I know that? Because this line is very steep, and the time it took for it to drop was really quick. So maybe I wasted all of it or something. Okay, so let's read. A man poured from a pitcher, true, at a constant rate, true. In several seconds, he stopped pouring from the pitcher, true. Then the man poured the rest of the lemonade from the pitcher at a faster rate than before. So that sounds like that could be the answer. Let's read. A boy poured lemonade into an empty pitcher. Then, for several seconds, he stopped pouring into the pitcher. Then, okay, so it says he poured lemonade into the empty pitcher. This says that they poured lemonade from the pitcher into something else. So into the pitcher means I would be filling it up. So the graph would have done this, because empty means it started down here with no volume. Volume was 0. This says the volume was not 0, that it had lemonade in it. So it can't be G. A woman poured lemonade from a full pitcher at a constant rate. In several seconds, she stopped pouring from the pitcher. Then the woman poured the rest of the lemonade at a slower rate. Look how steep that line is and how much time it took from here to there. That's fast. So no. A girl poured lemonade into, we already talked about into a pitcher, was wrong. So the answer has to be F. And we are done with this section.